Hello everyone, it's Mr. Dancer and his magic mask again, back with another unmasked video. It's the weekend and people are here to watch movies, so I want to recommend some weekend movies to watch. For me, this weekend is all about getting my mic sorted. Reduce the popping sound a little bit by putting a sock over it. So let's see how this goes. For the weekend chads and partiers, the film I would like to recommend to you this weekend is The Legend of the Stardust Brothers. Released in 1985, this film is a popping, wacky, fun musical that could get you singing along to some of the catchy songs and even getting up on your feet and dancing a little. This film is directed by Makoto Tezuka, the son of Osamu Tezuka. The Legend of the Stardust Brothers is about two rival bands whose four men both hate each other. A music company, however, asks them if they want to get famous, and they agree. But the company doesn't want their bands. They want both of them to come together and form a pop group sensation. One of those 80s, 90s boy groups. You know, girl-friendly, wacky costumes, synth. They make it, alright. And they even make a number one fan, who they really bond with. The two members and their number one fans sort of get together and go through a journey of success. Their journey ends up becoming bizarre and wacky. For me, this film is a party in itself. As I mentioned before, The Legend of the Stardust Brothers is a musical. The music in it is old, energetic, what you can expect from mainstream pop from the 80s. There are ballads, city pop, and just upbeat shit. Besides the music, the film has crazy props, bright colored costumes, great stages, and tons of different light and colors. The special effects are contained, but they are extremely fun. The plot is absolutely absurd, and the ending, you really can't miss it. The musical numbers and the crazy movie choreography come in and go so much, it's so easy to be glued to the screen. If you have seen this film and love it, maybe consider a Stardust Brother themed costume watch party and just send some pictures to me. If your weekends mean you're mostly staying in bed, the film I want to recommend to you is An Autumn's Tale. This time, maybe you're not going to be binging on Lucky Charms with extra honey, but instead, treat yourself with some Guilan Go. An Autumn's Tale is directed by Mabel Cheung and released in 1987. Chow Fat acts as a man named Samuel. Jennifer, Samuel's cousin, is acted by Cherry Chung, and she arrives to New York to go to school because her boyfriend also goes to that school. Samuel picks her up, shows the ropes of being an Asian American or a Chinese American working class in New York City. Jennifer finds out her boyfriend is dating someone else, or at least hasn't been faithful to her. This makes her incredibly lonely in New York until she really starts to connect with Samuel and learns a different type of lifestyle in New York City compared to her university lifestyle. This film starts to focus on the two main characters' relationships. Both these characters start to show how they are social outcasts in America, but with themselves, they find a very great sense of belonging that's quite touching and extremely comfy. I'm not bullshitting when I say, even right now, as I'm editing this part of the video, I'm feeling that sort of slightly painful, hard feeling that you usually feel when you're in love, but you can also get when you're watching a comfy film. I'm a huge sucker for Chinese immigrant movies in New York City, but I think An Autumn's Tale is probably my favorite New York City film. Chow Fat and Cherry Chung's relationship is so fucking cute. So the comfiness starts there. And Samuel reminds me a lot of the working class in America that are Chinese. Jennifer is a surprisingly complicated character that embodies both the privileges of being an immigrant, especially if you have money, but also the isolation, loneliness that you can feel in a city that you know you don't belong to. There's so many great New York Chinese immigrant moments in this film, and they're all pretty honest, even the ones that aren't pretty. Both of these characters hold prejudices against other races that you see. You'll recognize the type of food they eat, where they go out to have fun. When I saw China Fat drink a PBR, I felt so represented, I actually wanted to cry a little. I think what makes this film so comfy, though, is how honest both characters' identities are. Their identities isolate them from their environments, and honestly from each other at times. It's because of their identities that they have bonded together so strongly, and that bond feels so eternal, so pure, you can't help but feeling warm from it. It's a simple film to its core. What I also love about An Autumn's Tale, though, is that this film really loves New York. An Autumn's Tale genuinely loves New York in all its diversity, flaws, and positivities. Today, the Chinese diaspora in New York City is so much larger than just Chinatown. But that doesn't stop this film from being one of the best love letters to the Chinese diaspora in New York City. And you know what? Chinese takeout is quite comfy. In my opinion, that sounds like a perfect night. My choice of authentic Chinese food is shuanlatang.
Have you ever seen a dying dog? You know, one of those old dogs that comes to die under the porch of the house.
I can't say that I have, but hey, that's a great start for my edgelord film recommendation for this weekend. My recommendation for the edgelords this weekend, who are planning to stay in the room and draw tattoos on their face, is going to be the infamous Possession. Possession was released in 1981 and is directed by Andrzej Żuławski. Possession is probably his most famous film, and it's about a young woman who leaves her family. The husband, paranoid, thinks she's cheating on him, and there's another man. He starts to stalk her and is obsessed with finding out why she broke up the family. As he keeps following her, more and more secrets get revealed, and it seems like perhaps it's not just about another man. Possession has always been marketed as a demon sort of fairy tale. Well, maybe not fairy tale, but a demon horror movie. There's a reason why, if you haven't seen the film, but have seen some scenes from Possession, it's probably this scene. But the real horror of Possession is really not the demons, which is why it's the perfect film for anyone who wants to feel a little angsty. As a woman of this young family leaves, and the man gets paranoid, there's a ton of hysteria, and there's also a ton of arguments. These arguments are gut-wrenchingly stressful. Both main leads yell at each other as if they really, really hate each other. And seeing such genuine hate on screen is not easy to sit through. It is a wonderful masochistic experience. It really could feel like watching your parents argue and you have to sit in the same room and pretend you're not listening by putting your earphones on full blast. The man's hysteria and obsession to find out why his wife is cheating on him is really an emotional journey. With all that said, I shouldn't take away from the fact that this film has some iconic monster scenes. A lot of those scenes are implied, and you don't actually see the monster. So it really comes down to some more incredible acting from the two leads to sort of give you that demonic presence in the film. Gore-wise, the film does have some fantastic bloody scenes. Possession is really, truly one of the best I'm not having a good time here films out there.
Bro, I'm straight up not having a good time.
Going to be ending these weekend recommendations, again, with something a little more high art or pretentious if that's the mood you're looking for. The film I'm going to recommend is Moses and Aaron, released in 1975, and it's directed by the sort of power couple of directors, Jean-Marie Straub, and Danièle Huillet. The film is an opera, and it's based off an unfinished opera by someone named Arnold Schoenberg, I think. The opera is mostly about the Israelites when they fall into temptation and worship the golden cow. The one that Moses splits up this whale. When I say based off, this film is actually truly an opera, which is why you can consider it like going to the opera if you're feeling that high art sort of energy that you need this weekend. There's not much acting. People just stand there and sing. That doesn't mean there's no Exodus story. The story is not abstract anyway, and it's quite close to the Bible. I guess Moses and Aaron is like watching an outside opera that you can watch inside your room. Kind of like virtual reality, except there's no cute anime girls. The opera singing is fantastic, and people sing with passion. They're good opera singers. Set designs and location-wise, it's incredibly beautiful. The film is mostly shot in Italy and Egypt, so you get to see very natural landscapes that look very great on screen. The sun is so bright, so the colors on the landscape really get into the camera. The costumes are so fun. While most of the opera scenes have people just standing and singing, there are some dancing, I guess. I really think, though, even though this film might seem a little high artish, it is a film full of life. There's so much singing and power, and just like a lot of people working together to create one sound is really, really engaging for me. All of it sort of points to a type of spirituality you don't usually get inside film, because of how much people are working together as a collective to create a singular, grand, epic visual experience. It's also nice to see an Exodus story, which has been done so many times, done in such a different type of way. Alright, so that's all 4 films I'm recommending this weekend. Hopefully you get a chance to watch them if they interest you. If you do watch them or have already seen them, let me know how you like them. These weekend recommendations are not in-depth, so I am down to have more in-depth discussions about them. Like and subscribe if you like these videos, and check out my channel for more film videos. I'm going to head off now to my weekend and probably start it off with a whole bottle of wine.